So, in case you've been wondering why I haven't been putting out as much content lately, I've been kind of on a movie set lately. Hello, and welcome back to 20th Century Dude. So, it's a bit of a long story, and honestly, for those of you who know, unfortunately, I've been a bit unemployed for the past, almost 2 months at this point. Because unfortunately, circumstances at a previous job that I've already made mention of before decided to essentially let me go. And ever since, I've been hunting for jobs and hunting for jobs and continued hunting for jobs. Unfortunately, no one can give me a full permanent yes as far as hiring me for anything, which, trust me, is getting pretty frustrating. Considering that in a couple months, if I don't actually get a job, like a good job, my bank account's going to start to look like 1929 here, right? It's not a good situation right now. That being said, about a month ago, I was in contact with somebody I graduated school with, who happened to be working at this small sort of indie company, and they were actually filming something in Phillipsburg for pretty much most of October, in a town called Phillipsburg, which from where I'm at is like an hour away. But it's really just a small town, a bunch of stores, nothing really truly distinctive. But I guess what they were trying to do was it's a period piece, it's a colonial period piece from the 1780s. And I guess there was another producer they were working with who happened to own uh, some private land. There was also a state park with some trails. And I guess when you're searching for locations in the pre production process, you have to find the locations that are absolutely just right and fit the aesthetic of the movie that you're looking for. And I guess combining the resources with the state park made it the perfect match, I guess, for what they were looking for. And because he knew me and because we worked together before, he decided why not call him up because they call me up because they needed some production assistance. And considering, honestly, I wasn't really doing anything else anyway, except for mostly just staying at home all the time because what am I going to do? I decided, sure, why not? Now, they were filming for about 20 days during this month. I think I was only there for about 11 to 13 of them, usually because there might have been other small stuff going on, days I wouldn't have been able to make it. And I think they did take a couple of days essentially, just take a break because I know people were getting tired for filming. Uh, but a lot of the time, it is basically, honestly, get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, go drive to Phillipsburg, right? Because it's pretty much a 10 to 12 hour day of you working there, and then you're not getting back home until 9:30 at night until you shower and then settle down, right? It's usually the same thing all over again, probably the next day. Which sounds like a pain, but honestly, it's I think you get used to being tired after a while, right? And then I think considering this is just probably the life of some people to begin with, I guess after a while it's like, yeah, I kind of understand. So basically, as a production assistant, I was basically there to just, help unload or put away equipment, or if like the director of photography basically, needed a cup of coffee or somebody needed to go run errands, maybe they need to grab something at a store that all of a sudden we don't have anymore, whether that's drinks or ice or a brush. Apparently, they needed like a brush to clean off something at one point. And even things like I had to like spend 3 hours one day, set dressing hay over this like trail, mostly to cover up wires and stuff because you didn't want to see these extension cords and stingers and stuff, right, in the middle of this forest that it completely disrupts the aesthetic almost, right? Like it's not the 1700s without extension cords lying around, that kind of a thing. But it was mostly just a DP. He wanted a particular look, so we had the make the hay as darn good as we possibly could in the frame, right? That kind of a thing. And even though it's basically, I was told it was this, low budget indie like period piece. I mean, it had a lot going for it, and the equipment, as far as like quality and stuff goes, far surpassed what I thought this low budget film was going to do. For one, it was this very nice. I don't know what the model is. Very nice, very professional camera from Ari, and honestly, they probably could have shot it, 4K or 6K if they wanted to. But I think maybe for space they chose 1080p. Maybe that was a storage choice or a creative choice. I don't know. That's just something I happened to notice when they were filming and I was watching on the monitors. And even all the the amount of equipment we have, right? We're not like the biggest, hundreds of people kind of crew kind of a thing. It's maybe 20 to 30 people at the most working on this thing per day. And I know even the last week, right, this week, at the time of this video, we actually had a second unit running at a different location, trying to get any like leftover stuff that might have been missed before. So that's even a couple of more people working on this thing. And I think what's nice about the equipment too is that in school you learn what some of this stuff is, right? But I never found that I had like any practical use for using any of these things on my projects for school. Maybe when we made like dandelions or something, I had someone to go get like one light panel or something like that, but like not anything like we need 6 or 7 lights set up on like a set. We got a couple of apertures over here. We have some sky panels down in the cabin below that achieve a certain like light or effect or something. I never went that super crazy, and honestly, when I got a few things of equipment for myself this summer, lighting was not one of them. And honestly, lighting was never my best subject in school to begin with because honestly, I was just quite horrible at it, right? If you had a test, it's like, all right, here's one person sitting here. You get aperture here, an aperture here, and an aperture over there, and you have two cameras facing this way, and you need to achieve a certain look with what you've got. I probably would have failed that assignment because honestly, I didn't wouldn't have really known what I was doing. I mean, I still kind of don't know what I'm doing because I'm not a lighting expert, but thankfully, I sort of grew a little bit in that skill, and I know a little bit better of how to use lighting in a scene. And hopefully, maybe in the future, I can get like a few apertures or a sky panel or something for myself, and then I can go use them for whatever future projects I might, want to do for myself. And even I think the overall experience sort of like helps. It helped. I got more. I don't know. It's not just like exposure to like what you're doing, but I think it's what you're learning on set, right? I feel like even though that college of communications like film major, I think did a pretty decent to good job of like teaching us what we need to learn for these kind of things. I feel like I've learned more in this month than I've done in probably 2-ish years at Penn State, which I feel like is pretty nice. It's pretty effective that I'm getting more out of it now because now I can see, especially with the lighting part, this is how it now applies, right? It's just like especially with the lighting part, and this is sort of how it applies. The crew was just great to work with too. Like just this past month, I've made so many connections with these people, and they're just super nice, super friendly to work with. And the chemistry between all of us is just great, right? It's not just me and, several other people from Penn State that I got to work with, right? It's these people from like Miami and LA and New York and Georgia and all over the place. These are people being flown all over the place. I know the assistant sound girl, she's actually an actress from Texas, and sound is sort of just what she does on the side, and then they flew her up for this project. And I think even one of the assistant cameramen, before he actually went to go work on a Matt Damon and Ben Affleck action movie. So, whatever that title is coming up, now we'll know that he's working on it. He left in the middle of last week to go. I guess he needed a DP the work on this action film or something. So he got called away to do that. His name's Stefan. He's a pretty awesome dude too. I want to say he's the same guy who worked on Moonlight too, although I could be wrong. For any of you who knew what the Moonlight film even is, it was about, I think, 10 years ago probably. Big indie smash hit. So then there's this family named the Hernandezes. They own one or two like equipment and gaffer companies down in Florida. They were flown up for this project, and they said about 80-90% of what they do per year is mainly just commercials and music videos and stuff, and they're paid usually a couple $1,000s a day for this type of thing. And then the other 10% is independent movies, sort of like this, which they were also flown up for. And I guess the one guy, I think it was Will or something. I guess they were doing something with J Lo or something the one time because he was like he accidentally walked into her house one day or something, and then he incidentally met J Lo, and that was a pretty funny story. I don't know if it was before this or what he's going to be doing after, because I know he has to do a video next week already. I guess he already met. There's a rapper named Bad Bunny, and he was in conjunction with Bad Bunny. So I guess, hey, the people you meet. And speaking of the people you meet, believe it or not, Kevin Spacey was on set with us for a couple of days, which I was totally caught off guard for, right? You're told, it's just this, low budget colonial piece in the middle of the woods. I wouldn't have thought that they would have had the money for this thing. I thought the budget was like 20,000 at one point. Apparently, it's actually 500,000. Probably half of that goes to Spacey. I don't know. I know the first or second day on set they were talking about preparing for Kevin Spacey on set next week. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Wait, what? And yeah, we had the real Kevin Spacey on set, which was it was a very interesting experience, to say the least. For one, unfortunately, we weren't allowed any autographs. They wanted a very professional environment, which I get. Unfortunately, I could never get my Bugs Life DVD signed and up in value, unfortunately. But I think definitely they hammered home. Do not take any pictures, and now is due to entirely a contract thing, right? Never take any pictures whatsoever. I guess they don't want this like leaking out or whatever, but I mean, this is something that's probably going to be dropped on streaming after a limited theater release. So I don't know what the whole big deal about that was, but business is business, I guess, right? It's not like he's playing some big Marvel cameo or something, and we've got to like hide it like the Illuminati kind of a thing, right? And another rule that was definitely hammered down was don't talk to him. I think it was mostly for like PAs. Don't talk to him unless he like starts talking to you, kind of a thing. So I couldn't just go up and wave and say like, "Oh hi, hey Kevin Spacey, hey hello." Um, wouldn't have been allowed at all, unless he asked me to like that he needs something or whatever. But yeah, so the week he was there, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It was basically all hands on deck, because Kevin Spacey's coming, and we got to be as prepared and professional and competent as possible. Because there were a few moments he wasn't totally impressed, but otherwise I think he also did have a good time. I think at one point we were doing a scene on a trail, and we needed a whole bunch of like equipment to like pull back because we needed to like follow him and a couple of other troops. So we were there basically in a line carrying this equipment to do the take. And I guess he tripped at one point, and somebody tried to like snap a quick picture, but he was quick to notice and got very upset. So somebody almost got through offset that day. So it was hammered home again. No pictures, no photography whatsoever. Don't even think about it. I know he had it out for the director of photography at one point. He was very good at his job. He definitely can perfect the image to the best of his ability, even if that does suck up way too much time on occasion. Because I know he and the actors were ready, but the DP still needed to like work on something I guess Spacey didn't think was totally relevant at all, and basically said to him, dude, why don't we just get the take done and get it over with, and you can focus on this later. And then somebody got like stung by a bee who was allergic by bees because there was like a hornet's nest nearby. But I guess we didn't stop to take in time to tend to the person, and he got very upset about that. But otherwise, I think he very much enjoyed being around this type of project. So yeah, there was that. Unfortunately, I missed today. I guess they're killing off his character or something in the movie. So spoiler alert, if you do see it. But I ended up missing that day. So, and I'd have to say, as far as post grad experience, it's probably been the most meaningful out of all of them, honestly. Unfortunately, it's not something you're going to get paid for as a PA, but it turned out to be probably the most meaningful of them all. And it did make me wonder, right? Because at this point, I've applied to like 50 some jobs in the past month and a half. And unfortunately, none of those companies I've applied to across the state have been willing to budge for anything. And it's been all kinds of like videographer or camera or video editing work, all sorts of things. And not one of them is willing to be like, yeah, sure, we'll get on that, we'll hire you. Not one. I know the economy is bad right now, and I know that we're going to have to basically wait to the 5th after the election to basically see who gets in and how all the job market's going to be after. I totally get that. The other 50% of it are these companies that, let's be honest, if you're going to put an application out but you're not going to do anything about it, then why even put the application out if you're not going to hire people? Right? It's kind of a thing I'm sort of fighting with an internship guy that I had unfortunately this summer. Didn't work out at the very end because it is now the beginning of November. And even though we were supposed to get a paid stipend, we were never paid once. And we, as the previous interns, we are livid right now. And unfortunately, I feel like if we don't get anything by the end of the year, we're going to have to settle this in a very legal manner, but I am not going to get into that right now because I prefer to be in a good mood the rest of the day. But this experience turned out to be very meaningful, and it did make me wonder. I've been applying so many places all over Pennsylvania, but I'm wondering, should I just go off with these people I've been working with and just do my own films and work on my own stuff? I know for a while I didn't know if I really wanted to, make films anymore because of the way AI was growing and taking away creativity and just the political landscape everything's in, and the fact that LA, that, let's be honest, is no longer affordable to live in. Even the millionaires are leaving LA and California. I even read apparently 90% of films made in 2023, about 89% of them were made in Georgia. So even Atlanta, Georgia might be a slightly better place to live in at this point. So it makes me wonder, should I just move out and go make films somewhere like I wanted to do when I was a kid? Because I'm wondering if I've been putting this off for too long because I kind of haven't been liking how things have been going on in the industry lately. But after this experience and even what the director said to me, he hopes big things come out of my career someday, and he thinks something I'm going to be in charge of something really big in the future. So it makes me wonder if I should just be, making films like this and going off and making my own thing. But I'll let you decide in the comments if this is something I should pursue, because now I'm already thinking, should I get something feature length off the ground next year? Should I take a break from the whole YouTube thing or take a break from shorts and focus primarily on making a solid feature length film? Probably with a cheaper budget, obviously not $500,000. I have no idea, but something maybe on the smaller scale. But I'm at the point now where maybe this is what I should be doing from now on. Oh, yeah, and I almost forgot. The film is called Deadlock, so I believe it'll be finished by next spring. So if you are looking for this film, it's called Deadlock. I'm a production assistant on it. Hopefully, my name does show up in the credits. It shows up on IMDb actually, so it really should. For those of you wondering, it's called Deadlock. Otherwise, this is just a recent experience I got to share. At the time of recording this video, we actually wrapped production yesterday and had the wrap party last night. That was a very entertaining experience, and I hope, honestly, to work with these people more in the future because, again, just a very, very, very great experience. So otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you enjoyed this video and what I've been doing lately. But otherwise, have a great rest of the day and see you.